what this is here is a shining example of how well you can improve a city simply by shutting down the main area to traffic. Hi, we've been in Santa Barbara for about a week now, and I wanted to give you a tour of the place, especially the main areas here, and tell you why I really like it and how it's really well made, especially for walking. So I'm starting now at the downtown edge on the closer to the beach. If you go right through this underpass, you will get to the beach very shortly after. But what I'm gonna do now is turn over this way and walk through downtown all the way up. It's uphill, and then come down, and then we'll go to the beach. So far, my impressions of Santa Barbara have been very, very good. The place is perfect, especially right now. There's the coldest Christmas ever in America, and we're here in Santa Barbara where currently today it's like 75 Fahrenheit or like 25 degrees Celsius. That's the best weather of all, you know. So if in the coldest day, coldest Christmas ever, Santa Barbara has the best weather ever, that says a lot. So yeah, number one selling point is the weather. It's perfect. And then the natural beauty. But beyond that, I want to show you how well they've made it, because it's been done very well and makes being here very nice. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show you downtown. Here is basically the beginning on the southern end of downtown. You see on the left here a lot of businesses to spend your time and money. Boutiques and food and coffee, quite a lot of pizza. What they've done here is extended a lot of the businesses onto the street, which happened in many parts of America. But what you'll see here right after I get there is that they've gone beyond here, and you see these barriers. They have basically made the entire main street a walking zone, and they've shut it for cars, which is the best thing they could have possibly done. And it makes the city so nice for walking right now. I hope they keep it like this forever and actually expand the walking zone. But you see right now I'm walking on the street. There are businesses here, tacos and beers. It looks like a tropical garden on this side. And this stuff is evergreen. And so you feel good right now. There are no cars to be polluting and noisy and hazardous. You see how everybody's enjoying themselves in the outside. This is December 24th, and here we are in a subtropical paradise with no cars to cause any problems. And you see many of the businesses here are quite busy now. People are enjoying Christmas Eve. Brewery there, lots of business. On this side, I'm seeing a lot of food and bars. And you see how I can just walk right in the middle of the street. I simply love it. And so we've been here for a week. Every single day we've come to the main street here to eat and enjoy ourselves, walk with our kid. It has been great. You see people are biking around me, palms and rugs and all kinds of things around me. All of this would be much worse if cars were allowed through here. I'm sure this was the case until not long ago, but this very, very good decision was made to shut down all of downtown Santa Barbara to traffic, which is really, really awesome. And what they've done is, for example, I'm about to cross the street. Cars can't cross this street that I'm on right now that I'm crossing, but they cannot continue up the main street like I am, and the bikes are. So that's the approach they've chosen. Eventually, maybe some of the side streets can be closed as well, but right now it's quite all right. You see some typical Californian palms up here. There are quite a number of theaters here, movie theaters and other theaters. There's one right there showing Avatar 2 and the Pussy in Boots. And yeah, just a very, very pleasant environment, especially given the weather. All day long there are people here. In the north, where I live in Seattle right now, you don't see people like this out. And another thing about many American cities, including where we live, is that they are very poorly done for walking. But here in Santa Barbara, not only is the beach entirely walkable, but now the entire downtown is entirely walkable with just the cross streets. Like you see cars go only across, but not along. And it makes it so much better. Like it's not at all hard to imagine how much of America can be improved this way. As far as what kind of businesses are around here, some of them are corporate, like you see Billabong kind of stuff, you know, your average mall type of store. But many of them are actual local businesses, and quite a lot of them are boutiques where you get a better quality for a higher price. And that's good because you don't want the same thing that you can get in every suburban mall. That would take a lot of the luster away from here. But you do have stuff like, you know, 7-Eleven is tucked in there and stuff like that. You see the usual Subway and stuff like that. So it's not all boutiques, it's not all full of itself, but it is more upscale, more upper class. Here is an interesting place which is basically a mall. You can see the directory of the mall. It's called Paseo Nuevo. But what is cool about it is that it's open like this, which I've seen elsewhere in California. And so you take a side street and immediately it's yet another great walking zone proceeding to the right. And it's very well designed, the architecture. And it's just pleasant to be. And all these vines are growing. You have the tile resembling the Mediterranean style and the palms and so on. So it's really, really good. So you can walk here a long time, especially if you're not as fast as me. I'm pretty fast, so I walk really faster than most. But altogether, you see, I just entered a mall, but this is their mall. When you enter a mall in most suburban northern environments, it is so shabby. It just does not at all want to make you to be there. Here is so much more pleasant. You see palms outside. And the mall is not dead. The stores are not shuttered like many malls out there at this moment. And here too, generally, you know, some corporate businesses, but there's also some unique ones. So it's not that bad. But you see open air mall right off the main street. It makes it much more of a walking zone this way, because you can proceed even to the side. Our baby really liked this display of these houses here. It's like a Christmas display. Pretty well done. Eventually we may have to get him some of that to make his own little village. So I'm making my way through here. And eventually what happens is you emerge again on the main street. So it's seamlessly connected, which I really, really like. We came out here looking for food one time. Oh, and there's the Santa booth. But our kid is too young for Santa. I'm not sure how I feel about the Santa business. We'll see. I think his mom is gonna be more into it. Here's the Christmas tree and everything. And another theater, it looks like. Here's the very ornate Christmas tree. Another plaza that I just emerged into. So here you go. There was more of an event and a market the other time we were here. Well, there's a movie theater again. There's plenty on this main street. And another awesome plaza, and then I am back on the main street. So you see how it often does this here in Santa Barbara, where you can take a route into the side blocks and then seamlessly connect back to the main road, making it a great walking experience. A bunch of dogs here. And there you go, I'm back on the main street now. Nice, so you can just take a detour, and there are several such on the sides that expand the zone a lot, that you can walk without any car interference. And it's pretty long, this downtown, because we've walked it many times already, and you keep thinking, oh, it's downtown, it's just one little area, but actually it's pretty long, so If you're going for something on the other end, it takes you a while, and it's actually also uphill, and so it can get a little tiring even. Here's a great coffee shop with some very interesting drinks, but it looks like closed for Christmas Eve. I was gonna get a coffee. You see here yet another plaza to the side opens up. Hi. And over there, yet another plaza you see inside there. So it continues like in that way, expanding the downtown to the side. Many such opportunities. And the foliage on the road is great. All this tropical stuff, a lot of it actually even seems newly planted, so they're making it greener and greener. I don't know exactly if there's a visionary in charge here or simply the usual leadership of the city has done the right thing, but it's good. It's really, really good. What they've done, I want to see done in just about every US city. You may have seen some of my other videos about New York, and when I criticize Seattle for not doing this correctly, New York is taking steps towards it, but it's so big and so difficult there. Well, here, in just one swoop, they've done the entire downtown. It actually blew my mind that they've done such a thing and how well it came out. So what this is here is a shining example of how well you can improve a city simply by shutting down the main area to traffic. And we all know how large American streets were to begin with. So see how much space they have opened, and is now quiet and safe and peaceful. Does not at all bother you. Like you go to many other places and it's just constant traffic and pollution around you. Here's yet another theater. I don't know if it's functional. It looks so, yeah. Also Pinocchio and the Puss in Boots. So that's like the third movie theater I've seen in like 3 blocks. They're really into movies here, but that makes a lot of sense since we're really close to Hollywood. Here is an Apple store, but at first glance it's pretty seamlessly integrated in the design of the downtown. It has the columns and the other style of the Spanish architecture, but inside is Apple store, which is great. You don't want stuff to look like a corporation designed the environment. You want the environment to have flavor and style, and the corporation to actually integrate within that. When you go to areas which are completely made by corporations, like most of the American suburbs, you end up with this completely artificial environment, which is much inferior to what you're seeing here. Speaking of inferior, the fact that people find this environment better is very well illustrated by the property values here. The houses now, it's very difficult to get anything decent under 3-4 million. So, I wish I could live here, but we would have to make a lot more money. So someone needs to share our videos and make us famous. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult. But at least right now, we are able to vacation here for 10 days easily, because the prices are even for staying, food and lodging, not any more high than Washington State and Seattle where we live, so we can afford this. This is fine, even though I would say for travel and vacation, this is so much better than what you can find in the Northwest. On the left here is one of my favorites that we have found, this Turkish place called Lokum, which is the actual word for Turkish delight, the way Turks say it. It's gorgeous and delicious. So I will show you. We came here immediately as we arrived and saw it. You see all the pastries, like baklava, and all the Turkish delight right here. It's called lokum. That's what I call it too where I'm from. There's another kind right here, classic Turkish delight. Cakes. I want it all. And then Turkish coffee, which is also a famous thing. Here are the little pots that you make Turkish coffee with. And amazing chandeliers. Oops, I'm sorry. The Turkish style is very, very gorgeous, and I cannot wait to go to Turkey. but this is the next big thing until then. Then you step back out and you're in the subtropic, actually quite like Turkey. So it's fitting that it's here. I'm continuing up the street. One of the offerings here for commerce are second-hand stores, actually several of them that have quite nice stuff in them. But here's Crossroad on my left, which is a chain for clothing, second-hand. And there were more down that way. Another thing is pizza right here. There are so many pizza places. Many of them are quite good, but after twice, I don't feel like pizza anymore. I can only have so much pizza, and you can get pizza anywhere. Food has been amazing, by the way, and anywhere this strip, you can find quite good food. We had Mediterranean, we had pizza, we had Cajun, we had all kinds of food already, and nothing has disappointed. See here, there's a side street where cars can come in, but it's not that big of an interference. And then the main road again is totally fine. Very pretty corner right here with these three vines up the street there of the house. And people pleasantly dining on what is actually the road. You see here, this was part of the road until very recently. But now it's street dining, quite like in Europe. So yeah, a lot of this, it's attempting to take America in a direction like Europe, where certain things in Europe are done a lot better, and we need to learn from them. Environments like this typically you don't have in the US, but here you do. And they are great. They really are great. So you see what transformation, it was already a good place to begin with, but now it's been made so much nicer. Here I'm going to take another little side alley. They call these galerias or arcades, arcada in Spanish. So you see, you step over to the right, you have more boutiques, you have nice tile, you have a little fountain, and a lot of Christmas. It's a cool fountain with a dolphin and a turtle. There are more dolphins right here. Very cool. Oh, and a lot of wine. So this is a wine place. There are many more wine places. Nice statues and fountains here. Christmas tree. That looks like Benjamin Franklin. What is this? Yeah, he's reading the Bill of Rights with the people. Nice. So yes, you have even Benjamin Franklin down here. And a really nice fountain right here in the central area, where there actually are a lot of turtles coming out to get some sun. Wow, do you see them? A lot of them in there. I'll get a little closer. At nighttime, these tables light up and it becomes very atmospheric. Let's see. There are the turtles, you see? Many of them. And they're on every rock. And one of the rocks is actually a turtle itself, but it's not real. And so you see, yet again here, a very ornate, very beautiful side street, which is completely for walking. I do not know how they supply the merchandise, they have to bring trucks or whatever kind of delivery to fill all the goods in here, and so that, or take out the garbage even. How it's serviced, I'm not very sure because we haven't seen it, but it's been done well. In Europe, they have a lot of stuff they do like that. It's actually more of a pain in the ass to get all the waste out of here and supply the place when it's like this without car access. But the benefit is that the environment is so much better. And yeah, so very happy about what they've done here. And it just continues, you see. I'm going to walk the whole thing right now. Some Corinthian columns here on the right. You see great architecture. That's the Spanish legacy, by the way, one of the greatest architectural legacies in the world. A continuation of the Roman and before that Greek styles, and maybe even Egyptian inspired before the Greeks. But yeah, that's the thing. It keeps up the best of architecture lineage. It has now copied a lot of what's been good about Europe and the way their cities are more walkable because they were created before cars. On my right here, there's an art museum. A lot of these museums are recommended. We haven't done any of them because the weather's been so good. We haven't wanted to go inside. But I'm sure in the rare rainy day that you get, it's actually nice to have those. Here I'm crossing one of the car streets. And by the way, on this side, it's hard to see by GoPro, but the hill is gorgeous. And here I just cross. That's the only little cars I interfere with. And I continue to the next one. And here too, there are no cars. A lot of this stuff opens later at night, so right now it's downtime. I went now to another, I think they call this Old Town, and there's some historic theaters here, yet more theaters. So here's called the Granada, and it's this old building where concerts happen and other things like that. You can see here what's playing. I think they have a lot of this orchestra and, yeah, see. Orchestra, symphony, philharmony, so and so, where you can enjoy here. One thing to say about Santa Barbara is that despite actually being kind of a small town, there's everything you need. You know, there's like organic foods and all things that we like to eat. All the gourmet stuff and the trends that we like are here. Healthy eating is possible here. When it comes to big box stores, and there's probably like a Costco somewhere out there, but there's also Whole Foods, which is great, and there's Target and stuff like that. So even though it's a tourist town, it's a small town, you don't lack almost anything. And if you really needed something, Los Angeles is something like 1 to 2 hours away, but we avoided like the plague because you spend our whole day in traffic and our baby will be crying and it will suck. But much rather be here instead. We are now in front of a massive church kind of complex. Over here to the left, I'm not sure what it's called, but it's large. On this side you see another nice old building, and it's actually a Chase Bank. So the bank has not made a nasty box like it does in the suburbs. It has taken an old Mediterranean Spanish style building and seamlessly placed itself in there to not ruin the vibe. And that's great. Here already the cars have begun. So you see I walked the walking zone, but I ended up in this other part of downtown called Old Town, I think. And it does allow traffic, but it's also quite limited. Like you see this part of the street where I am has been secluded or sealed off, while one lane is open to cars at the moment. Yet another theater right here showing Avatar. So you see how many movie theaters they have in such a short time. But this one is grand by design here. It's designed to look amazing, or at least give you that feeling. I do wonder what's beyond the doors. I'll try. But here's Avatar. Someone's like flying on a flying shrimp or something. Yeah, you see here the entryway to this theater. Again, more columns, a fountain and palms on the sides, banana palms and whatnot. Really cool theater. Well, and it's very shady and nice here. And as you walk through the theater, you see that it actually connects to an alley that walks through. So again, more well-integrated walking environment. On this side, I'm exiting the theater right onto a very well paved street. This could be a nice part of Mexico or something like that, the way it looks. So you see, for now 27 minutes, I've been walking quite quickly through a walking zone without any cars almost near me. Here yet I just found another little alley that is pedestrians only. So, you know, you hear Los Angeles, designed for cars, the first such city, terrible to live there or spend time there because of all the traffic and pollution and noise and so on. But right up here near Los Angeles is Santa Barbara, which actually is a paradise for walking. You see a little plaza now I just found, hidden in the back. It's just perfect with Mediterranean tiles again and palms all over. So it's not all of California, which is for cars, even though a large part of it is, and I don't like that. It's a big reason why I've never wanted to live in Los Angeles, for example. But I love this place, and you can just go and discover little gems which don't actually fit the mold or the stereotype or your impression, whether it's accurate or not. In this case, if you go out and say, hey, California is just terrible for walking, you wouldn't be right, because this part of California is very nice for walking. As of right now, I've been walking for about 30 minutes straight, and I can actually continue for hours, and I will do that by connecting to the beach eventually and show you that area, which is huge as well and very, very, very nice.